afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, ImperialDane, Master of Propaganda. Off here to a 1 versus 1 on Moscow between Miragefla here fighting for Germany for the Kampfgruppe Wolf versus ImperialDane here fighting for the 3rd Armored Division. Yes, indeed. Bulletin-wise, we've got infantry and a bit of cash there for munitions. Part of the campaign rewards versus machine guns, mortars, and panzer-rated bullets until Miragefla. We got mechanized mobile defense and Jaeger infantry versus rifle, recon support, and airborne company. So troops arriving that way. We got a dual pioneer start here, by the way, from Miragefla. That's hoping to initially grab a lot of territory before his opponent. Dual rifleman start here so far. I mean, not so much different there. The bulletin here slightly helping with a faster training time and reinforcement time as well. Being in that regard a bit of a unique bulletin, since most of those tend to only sort of speed up production but never the reinforcement time. That would actually make the other bulletins, if they were similar like that, much more interesting. For example, but heading towards the west here, heading towards the centre, looks like here Miragefla is actually swinging pretty hard towards the left hand side. He's not moving through down here, which is what a lot of players tend to do, though some players are beginning to move towards here. And why might you do that in particular with the Wehrmacht? Well, there's a lot less buildings, there's a lot less they can sort of directly slow you down that way. Also that way, well, there's also a lot less to sort of have to worry about getting flanked. So in that regard, you tend to go here as the Wehrmacht, for example, you start in the north, you do end up having some slightly more, how should we say, secure positions. Plus that way, if you sort of take a look at the tactical map, you can also basically, if you just hold here, screen off your fuel point as well, which also makes it a very nice way to do it, reason to do it that way as well. So a few fun facts there. Those moving down here support the Pioneer, holding up here, rifleman firing away. More rifleman moving up here through the central road, rifleman falling back here, not going to deal with the troops inside the building. Anyways, maybe they are. Gauging here. Pioneers quickly shuffling out of the rifleman a bit out in the open here. Might want to seek into cover, trying to focus down the Pioneers. We've got more Pioneers arriving here from Miragefla. Focusing down the Pioneers. Low on health, But they get away. Despite best aiming efforts here from the rifleman. We've got more Pioneers moving in there though, closing in. And along with the Grenadiers, they should gain an advantage there versus the rifleman up close. The M1 Garand's nothing versus this deluge of bullets. So infantry forces there run off. We got more advancing though. More ever advancing towards the front lines. We got an MG42 up rather rapidly here from Miragefla as well, with a second Grenadier squad then following up. Operational engagement break out here on the left flank, while the right hand side is easily being secured here, since of course, while of course this allows Miragefla to sort of focus down more here, provide more effort and such, it also leaves the right hand side pretty much open and free to me. MD4 sitting up here by a stack of firewood. In this case, adjust the range here because I was able to set up, click on it before set up, being around here, so that way I could sort of get off some shots on the Grenadiers without getting suppressed in the process. Up to full rifle squads there. Forces sneaking northwards. You got a 3rd Grenadier squad there arriving from Miragefla. And fighting breaks out between the Pioneers and the riflemen. The Pioneers in this case are now without Grenadier support, finding themselves a bit outmatched and forced off the field. So in fact right now, Miragefla is sort of shifting forces towards here, though units that are already sort of been hammered away at, not very much combat strength. At the same time, Miragefla does this to sort of ensure at least he has something to sort of gain a bit more territory instead of just having to constantly run them back and forth, wasting a bit of time. That at least is this way trying to sort of get some use out of them before pulling them back, though it does also carry the inherent risk of basically being caught there and then wiped out. So it's of course not that straightforward. For example, right here they get caught right in front of the building. And they go retreating, but down to one man. I mean, there's very much the risk he could lose them. But in this case, it seems... Oh, actually not the Grenadier squad that went down in that case. We saw there, I mean, he had a chance. It could have worked. But in the end, you know, it did not pay off. So when you do make those decisions, you do have to be careful about them. They can bite you in the arse when you sort of decide to do that. Managing to sneak into the building. Not entirely sure I managed to pull that one off, but quickly sneaking up here behind the MG42. That's all I'm going about. And almost getting that MG42 there in the process, but looks like that will also escape. At the same time, Grenadiers arriving now. All of a sudden, the riflemen in action in pretty poor condition, though more are arriving to support as well. Also got the gentleman forgotten up here by the northern munitions point. And there go quick rifle grenade. Rather think he attempted to sort of try and throw me into a retreat than hit me there. Didn't quite work out either way. No, did do quite a bit of damage there. Shifting back into the village and giving up. It seems a bit on the west flank. Maybe sort of moving back towards here to try and regain the territory there instead. Take up done. Here we got a light to make a nice company on the way here for Miragefla. Captain on the way instead here for the Americans. No lieutenant, at least not so far, if any. No doctrine either so far. They've got Grenadiers here engaging the rear echelon troops. The rear echelon troops a bit outgunned there. Mildly put. Moving towards here, doing a bit of harassment. Marlene go towards the fuel point and take their way from Miragefla, thus delaying his taking. Also getting an ambulance there. And there we go. Like to make a nice company is up. Scout car is very much on the way there. 2-2-1. Some forces moving up, others remaining since they are in a pretty terrible state and will otherwise not live too long in that condition.
Scout car has arrived.
There we go, 2-2-1. Immediately receiving the Kampfwagenkanone upgrade, turning it into a 2-2-2. Grenadiers sneaking a bit about, and there goes riflemen head straight into the Pioneers and an MG42 with a scout car on the way as well. Quick retreat there without suffering any casualties. Of course, the scout car might try and change that little fact. Schnelldieter! Run them down! I want to shoot them with my cannon! Right there on the run, we got the captain moving up though ever slowly. Forces there healed up and forced off. And Grenadiers have been caught right from the building. Miragefla having a bit too occupied here. At the same time, also getting a bit too close. We've got anti-tank rifle grenade damage the engine, leaving very much damage. Captain here might have a chance of getting close and knocking it out. We might got more troops arriving, while others are desperately running away. 2-2-2 here, trying to escape. Got the MD4 moving up to cover the retreat here. Showing a direct run at it, will not succeed. Grenadiers falling back as well, trying to delay the captain and friends. And taking the run up here, since I have a sneaky suspicion there will be an MD42. Thus using the building here to shield versus the MD42. In this case, turning out to be right. Moving up here towards the 2-2-2. Stuart light tank though arriving to sort of aid things. And there you go, he actually times a rifle grenade quite nicely on the pursuing captain, actually taking out half the unit, including to the captain for once. Either way though, captain and friends forced to retreat, the other two are dead. Panzer Grenadiers arriving before Miragefla, adding in some more solid infantry. Doctrine above here chosen. Rifle company, opening up for flamethrowers, to burning out those krauts, amongst other fun things. Stuart light tank also almost ready. No doctrine on the other hand here for Miragefla. There we go. Collapse there of the MD42 position. We've still got the scout car to try and slow down the Americans, but that's about it really he can muster at the moment. And there we go. Rather than they're coming under fire, we got a flamethrower going up for them. Scout car there plastering away. I'm basically using the rifle here to sort of take up the attention of the scout car, maybe sort of bait it. I mean, they are low on health. In this case, though, something happens I hadn't quite expected, I hadn't thought about. Flamethrower tank burst open, ruining the cover, by the way, altering that on the open. There we go, rifle unit wiped out there. That was very much punishment there for my hubris. At the same time, though, the 2-2-2 is being set upon by the Stuart light tank. Pioneers also a bit of trouble. Themselves also suffer a bit of a wipe there for Miragefla, which would definitely hurt him. And there you go, Scout car went down. Pioneers will also suffer the same fate. Or, nope, they did not make it so right. The two units lost the row here for Miragefla. Losses piling up there. Units here in a very terrible condition. They're forced away here by the Panzer Grenadier. We've got Grenadiers and Pioneers supporting them. Pack 40 ultra right here to deal with the light armor available to the United States of America here. The Stuart moving up the M5A1. There was also an M3A1, which was sort of an earlier variant of the Stuart. Don't know what the specific differences were though, probably some engine and some slight changes in armor layout and such. Nice job then laying down a telemine at the same time in this case though, without any sort of unit to check for it, and he's actually close to my territory. He does result in this getting spotted and rather ruined here by the Stuart light tank. Both forces running here, Miragefla having shifted completely away there. Also, as all of this is happening, going for the fuel point there, trying to harass, because he's been caught by the Stuart. Quick lose the unit. Or they might run through the ditch, they're saving them. Nope. Ultimately they had to get out, and there we go. Pack 40 opening up the Stuart light tank, and the Stuart light tank's already done a bit of work here. Shifting down towards the Panzergrenadier. Forces moving up, Captain supporting as well this assault. The Grenadiers pack 40 and MD42 moving down, and the Stuart here charging into the Panzergrenadier. And going straight here for the MD42 before it gets set up, dudes in part killing the gunner. Captain joining in here with Thompson. We've got Grenadiers here providing fire support. We've got the Pack 40 though, continuing on its mission here. Miragefla not going to give up, and there we go, actually gets the Stuart. All that, the loss here of a on the other hand, he does manage to wipe out another rifle squad there with a rifle grenade. Nicely done there, but Miragefla seizing upon the opportunity to get 2 strikes here, while I was maybe getting a bit too overconfident for my own good. That's not to say that Miragefla came out of this completely without harm. And now we actually got a doctrine there from Miragefla. He has gone straight for mobile defense. He could use it, for example, to quickly prop up the lines here with some Osttruppen to quickly make up for all those losses he suffered. I mean, that would definitely not be a bad idea there. If he were to do that, of course, he could also get a Puma, but he probably doesn't feel too worried about enemy armor right off the bat. Calling in some fresh replacement riflemen. One of the advantages of Rifle Company, you can just basically use elite rifleman training to replace any losses that way suffered, making it reasonably handy. Grenadier holding up, we got the MB4 moving up, we got the Pack 40 moving in. Trying to take the fuel point there as well. There you go, Leichter's machining, give it on the way, MD42 firing on, the rifleman stopped. But in return, and its white phosphorus barrels went down here, and the Americans were quite fond of using white phosphorus whenever possible. Little fun fact there.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And certainly it was some nasty and potent stuff. It was also used to, for example, stun tank crews, since if they were hit by a white phosphorus shell, they rather had to worrying about, the tank might have caught on fire. Or then, of course, also just the poisonous fumes. So there you go, we got an Ostrom Soviet here arriving. It's actually rather veteran there, so nice bit of luck there from Miragefla. Panzer here, there's the rifleman. More force moving in to occupy. We got more flamethrowers here for the rifleman. No further taking up here. Captain and some riflemen waiting back on the base. There we go. Force moving up. Panzers there being showered with fire of a less than friendly kind. Also advancing up here through the main road. Though of course at the same time they need to use covers right here. I mean, Miragefla needs to get into cover, otherwise a lot of their bonuses or power is wasted, even on the veterans. I mean, they generally benefit from. There we go, rifleman straight into. We got a large force here. I mean, if I had a white phosphorus barrel here, that could actually cause Miragefla quite a bit of harm. We'll definitely force him back to be healed at the base. Those actually lacking a medic bunker, so sort of, well, heal up. Otherwise, this man could be in a very bad position for future engagements. Lieutenant on the way here, taking back. I've gone rifle, so I figure in that case I'm not going to bother with the major. Instead, I'm going to sort of branch out here with the platoon command post and get some units there to support my units until I can get the Sherman EC8 out. There you go, pushing up here through the centre. Moving up the south as well, we've got the more veteran Ostrom leading the way there. The third Panzer now also available here for Miragefla. Achtung, Achtung!
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Slowly moving up. Lieutenant mobilised. Medics moving a bit too far ahead there, and we got the anti-tank here spotted in a rather unfortunate situation, giving Miragefla a good chance of clearing out the anti-tank gun crew, though of course also learning him to the fact there is an anti-tank gun. Grenades going off. as I research those sort of improved potency for my men, but also maybe also opening up some smoke screens versus the MG42s and whatnot. And there you go, command tank count up, and it's actually time here for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is, in terms of map control, we're actually looking reasonably 50-50 here in terms of a split. Miragefla, those now with the command tank, actually got a bit of an armoured advantage. In terms of infantry, though, the advantage is a bit more towards me. Got 4 squads there, veteran, got captain, got lieutenant soldier, got flamethrowers, that is, I've got more weapon upgrades and a bit more potent. He's only got some veteran Osthoven, but they're a bit more tricky to rely upon just for that. There's gunners with machine guns, we've got some panzer gunners, so it's not like he's completely in bad shape. We've also got an MD42 there. So, I mean, there are some things there. You should also consider, by the way, using some counter-attack tactics when he's moving forward. He can allow him to sort of quickly seize the territory. But, I mean, otherwise, you need to sort of show up positions in the village. You need to fortify it. You need to sort of move troops towards it. Maybe consider getting a bunker up or getting a half-track in, so that way reinforce troops at the front line. That would do quite a bit of good there for Miragefla, allow him to sort of further fortify it. Also, he should consider taking further up. I mean, sure, he's got a command tank, he also get Pumas, but it's a bit risky just to rely on the call-ins from mobile defense. So in that regard, he should strongly consider taking up, getting some Stugs or Panzer IVs out of the more regular kind out here to sort of deal with things at the front line, because this is a bit iffy, if you will. Otherwise, another idea could be consider actually getting a mortar up that way, dealing with infantry and sconce from my side, and the buildings could also be used to lay down smoke screens for an assault. So those would be some options. Also consider laying down an S-mine field around here would be another good move there from Miragefla. Otherwise, harassment towards the fuel point here would also be a good idea for me. The options are pretty much, being pressured here. Otherwise, clearing out the left flank, then trying to take back the village. I've got a few options, of course, in particular due to the rifle here being upgraded. I can lay down smoke screens, which could be used to sort of clear out the MD4 to really sort of deny it much utility. Of course, I also want to ensure my anti-tank gun is safe, because that's going to be sort of one of my primary options there for dealing with the Panzer IV command tank, which I, by the way, know is here, because usually once things happen, you can see it on the mini-map, if you will. Right there, you can see there's a bit of an outline here on the sector, very nice, fat outline. It always does that, and that tells you there's a command tank there. And I know I'm playing mobile defense, so as soon as I know that, I know that's a command tank. So in that regard, I kind of know already what Miragefla has gone for, and I also know now the anti-tank is really important, alongside the captain with bazookas, of course. Together, on their own, they might not be strong, but together they can actually pose quite a threat there, so that's important for me to consider. Otherwise, save up resources for ammunition. Maybe get a munitions can sort of help with resources for further upgrades, maybe more white phosphorus. Bad idea, going that way, do quite a bit of good. Otherwise, an option could also be, getting an M20 and then beginning to lay down mines to sort of that way catch vehicles out, in which case the ammunitions cache would also be a good move. But back to the fight here. Captain here flanking the infos, and there we go. Miragefla forced once more to retreat. Pulling back here as well from securing the central victory point. The Panzer is on the move. It was not uncommon for the Germans to use older versions of tanks, basically as command tanks. In fact, some elements of SS Panzer divisions, for example Normandy, actually had Panzer IIIs for their command tanks. So, a little fun note there. There you go, Captain coming to fire here. High explosive shells flying, bazooka rockets going in the other direction, though failing to penetrate there. The bazooka could only really penetrate 60mm of armor, and the problem was most German tanks had 80mm at least, which rather rendered the bazookas a bit more tricky to use frontally. They had to flank, and there you go, though, flank exposed. Also immediately using arm-piercing rounds here, taking no chances with the command tank. Also troops here flanking up on the MG42 flamethrowers, firing away, and there you go, the MG42 forced to fall back here a bit. Gunners catching on fire, hoping that the bullets don't shoot off as well. Panzers here falling out of the building as the counterattack rolls in. All of this is happening while the Osman down there securing again. Counterattack can then further aid in him basically being able to secure the fuel point quickly, in which case he'd actually be in possession of both fuel points. Shermanese here arriving. A late war variant of the Sherman tank, if you will, with better suspension and other fun things, plus of course the higher velocity 76mm gun. Which had increased potency versus tanks, but actually less potent versus infantry due to the higher velocity of the shell. which allowed for less high explosives in the high explosive shells. A little fun fact, but there we go. Austrian force weight quickly overwhelmed. Securing the centre, we've got troops here occupying the buildings for a bit of increased line of sight. Got the Sherman here, upgrading with the 50 caliber hunting down the Osttruppen. Leave no Kraut standing. Not even the ones that speak Russian. Damn Russian Krauts, commie Krauts. Anyways, force their tank for the fun. We've got the command tank, by the way, providing a bonus here, since of course they're in the same tech, so that's means they actually take less damage. And in this case, there's a bit too much fire towards them. Command tank, they're inching forward. We've got the anti-tank here, trying to set up a position here where it can shoot here at the tank without necessarily having to move up here where it would actually sort of be closer within reach. And then again, popping armor-piercing rounds. I mean, versus a Panda 4, I mean, they do have a reasonably good chance of penetrating, but generally I prefer stacking the odds completely in my favour every time, so I generally always pop it as soon as I can, plus it just becomes a good habit for, you know, when it's become really necessary. I mean, a lot of players do tend to neglect this ability, so I got, you know, one way to do it is just, you know, pop it every time you can. That way you'll train yourself in sort of, you know, using it properly. And sometimes it comes down to just that, just do it. Then you'll afterwards learn to know when to do it properly. M20 on the way for the specific purpose of actually laying down M20 mines. I'm a bit worried he might bring in more armor or bring in some Pumas, in which case either way, you know, an M20 mine can do quite a bit of good in disabling any vehicles or armor. Or at least making them easy targets. Easy receiving rapid repairs there from the crew. Additional Panzer squad there on the way from Miragefla. He's still not taking up, by the way, I think. Yes, there we go. He's got plenty of infantry, but he seems to be sort of very much relying on his doctrine to provide any armor or vehicles for the time being. It does lend him a bit in that regards, a lack of flexibility, particularly when he's then not considering anything like, say, mortars to support. I mean, at the very least, it will allow him to sort of do better damage here versus me in the village, but he's not even bothering with that. Meanwhile, moving up here, the medic truck or the ambulance to sort of secure the centre. Medic truck. I suppose that says something about how much you've played the game when you call an ambulance for a medic truck.
Enemy forces now has 300 points remaining.
But there you go. Realise what's going on, moving up the Sherman. Captain Rifle also shifting into advance to deal with this. Keeping the anti-tank and just in case he moves in a nice surprise from the right flank. Also moving up everything else here to basically shield for the M20, trying to buy time in case they do have to get pushed back here. We got an MD-40, we got Austria, we got the command tank, infantry, anti-tank guns basically pushing up this. We also got Panzerschrecks now on the Panzer Grenadiers, making for something even further nasty here for my armour. Mining the entrances as well. Basically, both roads into the village have been mined now for any enemy vehicles. And so far, Miragefla has not gotten any minesweepers. In part, I also want to do this before you actually move down there, which actually I don't want to alert him to the fact I've gotten an M20 and thus I'm actually prepared with mines. In that regard, there's a bit of perception there. Move. Shots going off down the command tank. Attacks heavy damage. There you go again. Armor piercing rounds, but also taking aim. And there you go. Befehlt Panzer kaputt. No survivors. In that regard, he might have underestimated, of course, the anti-tank gun here. Or at least not expected it to sort of be peeking out here through a few sheds. We actually now got a Puma here around to support Miragefla. Much better versus vehicle, though less good versus infantry. At the same time, Ostrom there got off a great Panzerfaust here versus the EC8. And immediately here it looks like Miragefla is going to seize upon. He's moving up Panzers with Panzerx and the Puma. I can't quite move anything to sort of support because we've got the MG-40 keeping infantry and anti-tank guns in bay from here. And the otherwise right here's a bit longer. EC8 here trying to follow up with the Puma. The Puma's actually too fast here. And there you go, Sherman EC8 easily dealt with after that damaged engine as Miragefla's anti-tank team falls upon it. Though the anti-tank gun was able to move up here, get off, got a few good shots here, gaining reputation in the process. The Puma though escapes. And there we go, charging into the village. Suffering a few losses here and there. No further grenades from me, and the anti-tank gun then sends off the M6 anti-tank mine. Well done there, guys. A bit lacking that grenades from my side. That's definitely something that could have been improved, or maybe in a smoke screen here or there. Definitely a failing there. Also moving up the ambulance a bit further into the village. Though lacking a major to set up a reinforcement point, so it's a bit more of a dubious choice there by me, because I'm also saving up resources for another EC8. And we actually got here second Ostrom reserve call-in, and in this case the result is certainly something different. We actually got 2 Ostrom scores with light machine guns. I think that's the first time I've actually seen that. But it's certainly one of the rarer ones, so there you go. Lots of light machine guns there called in to support the Wehrmacht. It's comfortable there. Meanwhile, though, Miragefla here holding on to the left side quite strongly. Having only one spot to really sort of worry about that. See, I mean, in theory I could sort of flank up here and catch him there, but it tends to rarely happen. It tends to be a bit of a blind spot for a lot of players, including in this game, me and my blind spot. You've got Panzers flanking in there, flamethrowers too, and bund grenades going off in each direction, leaving the building very structured down sound, and I realised just as I popped the men into the building and just try to get out, before a lucky German shot causes the entire thing to tumble down. Meanwhile, got the others moving ahead. The heavily light machine gun armed troops. And I'm moving the M20s, and of course he saw that go off, so he pretty much knows I've got mines down, so no point in really hiding. I've got an M20. Also got some damage here off on the Ostrom, getting off a Panzerfaust. Grenades going off with those rifles with flamethrowers, burning away at the Krauts, but they are doing quite a bit of damage here to the rifle as well, getting off some good kills. And wiping out a rifle squad right there. Nicely done, by the way. Certainly does show the potency when you do get a call in like that. Plus the Puma rolls through the village, making me regret I hadn't mined that spot as well. And that might actually be an idea for future play. Also consider mining up here. Managed to save the crew and the bazooka though. A small victory, I suppose. And the rest here's got Miragefla now marching in from the north, having broken open here one of the corners of the village defense. Another command tank summoning while another EC8 has also arrived. But in the end, he actually ends up falling back here, feeling a bit worried, probably due to the presence of the EC8. And joining up with whatever else is ready for another push here through the eastern road into the village.
Sherman ready to go.
Under fire! Shift your fire!
Troops are under fire. Command tank moving in, and there we go, setting off the mine, leaving it immobilized. Anti-tank gun though is actually pointing in a pretty bad position there. It's actually having most of its line of fire there blocked by this building. That was actually pretty terrible. Shots fired, calling in white phosphorus there. Sort of deal with any supporting infantry. Since I know the command tank won't be going anywhere, I might as well, you know, well, neutralize its main gun, allowing me to basically shoot at it through the smoke and knock it out. So there we go. Defense Panzer kaput, and there's nothing really he could do about that. There's no way he could really screen, even if he sort of popped smoke of his own, you know. It can't move, so it's not like, you know, won't know where it is. But there you go, lots of damage are going on the EC8, need to get that out of there. Panzer Grenadier and the Pak 40 there. Throwing Dave as always to be a threat. .50 caliber taking up position in the church tower. Providing a nice zone of infantry denial as soon as it gets set up. And there we go. Grenades, flamethrowers, .50 caliber. Panzer's there in for quite a world of pain. As Miragefla here fights also to take back victory points. The light machine gun group getting out here as well. A sizable infantry force, though the Germans might be considered the minority in it. With an additional EC8 there arriving.
Ready for action.
Puma in dire need of repairs. Looks like he's given up here on the left flank entirely, or at least for the time being. I mean, Miragefla has been able to sort of keep moving from side to side. He's not just, you know, allowing me to set up defenses one place. It also makes it much harder for me to prepare for an assault, because again, I'll never know, will it come from here or will it come from here? So in that regard, you know, it's a good job there on Miragefla. Now he's really falling in from the right flank, and he's also in this case allowing me to call in another white phosphorus barrels right there on the primary spot of his infantry assault, catching Ostrom, MD crews and whatnot there in a huge cloud of white phosphorus. Captain charging in, going straight for the anti-tank gun crew. Lieutenant moving up as well. All the while the 50 caliber's coming. You've got an EC8 moving in. They're not fully repaired. Take a bit of a chance here. Trying to get that MG42 through there through the smoke when set though. Gets it knocked out, so that was a bit west for their lieutenant. Also knocked out. Here's a gun squad quickly flanked out for behind the cemetery. Nicely done there by Miragefla. Meanwhile, another engagement has left several Ostrom dead. Miragefla, the assault that continues here. He knows he can't really afford to dilly-dally, but the losses he's taking in the process are quite heavy. Picking up a BAR for the Ostrom as well, further increasing the amount of automatics they can unleash on the armies. Puma there, sadly not repaired. And we got a Panzerwreck here, stolen right away from under the noses of the Germans. And in the wake of the assault, a lot of men are quite dead. Also, a lot of equipment was wasted. So that did not really work out there for Miragefla. Anti-tank guns not been accrued. Big 2 points are not going his way. We got additional Panzer Grenadiers on the way. Still no sign of attack up at all. Of course, at this point it would be too late to do so. But Miragefla does not give up one last dash. And there you go. Now he actually triggers counterattack. I mean, you know, it's funny how a lot of players tend to use it only when things are actually desperate. You know, they never try considering when things, you know, going maybe alright, you're not quite the way to sort of, you know, quickly gain an advantage somehow, but it's only when they're desperate do they use it. And there we go. Knowing I just have to hold there for a bit longer, I pop a smoke screen, forcing them to basically not be able to use the MG42 shifting around here, buying me more time, and there we go. Game over there. A loss to Miragefla. Again, some interesting play from him. Aggressive start there towards the left flank. Mobile defense, we saw some aggressive Ostrom use there. Sadly, again, counter-attack tactics there wasn't quite there. I'm going to use the entire doctrine, which is great compared to me, which I also largely used it. But I didn't use rifle and flares, but then again, I rarely see anyone using it. Of course, that doesn't excuse me from not using it. Was able to sort of mount a good defense here, though again, Miragefla did his best to sort of deal with it, though at the same time, he should have gotten up some mortars. I mean, mortars are really good for sort of dealing with defenders like that. I mean, he could also allow him to pop down the smoke screen, allowing him further to assault here. Or he could have tried, you know, flanking up through here deeply. I mean, he rather left the right deep flank here rather unguarded. Or for that matter, I did, and he never really took advantage of it. So there were some things I think he could have done better, but overall, I mean, he did better than a lot of players. We just tend to, you know, just try to bash their way in from the right-hand side. He said, you know, he tried from different angles, even sort of helped here, which is not bad, but there were some elements lacking, and I also do feel like, you know, trying to rely fully on mobile defense to take a village is perhaps not quite what the doctrine is meant for. It's more meant for, you know, defending or, you know, more mobile, aggressive warfare. Overall, it's not meant for, you know, trying to take a village through brute force. That's really where mobile defense falters. So in that regard, you know, he should have tanked up and he should have gotten some mortars to help with that instead. Had he done that, I suspect he would have fared notably better than what he did. From my side, I mean, of course, there were some mistakes here and there, some mistakes with my armor, wasted a bit here and there, but and some infantry lost in silly ways. But overall, you know, I think I did somewhat alright. The M20 mines, while the first one was a bit of a dot, was able to quickly neutralize his other command tank, paying his off quite nicely. I could definitely, though, have done more with the grenades, so I did use them a bit. I definitely could have done more, and I also probably should have gotten a munitions cache up. Again, that would probably also help me further. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you gave you some ideas for your own matches. If you did, why not subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, you know, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comment section. This is ImperialDane saying cheers, and thank you all for watching. Bye.